Patch picked up the urinal without a care, completely ignoring the smell, spreading pure joy, and laughter filled the entire ward. The kids forgot their pain, as if the whole world was blooming in laughter for them, until head nurse Wensheng appeared, stopping Patch's seemingly absurd potty. As Patch smiled and left, he saw the stern principal, but fortunately, it was his first offence and teachers held him in high regard. The principal did not impose any punishment on him. However, he did issue a stern warning that medical students are not permitted to have contact with patients prior to their 3rd year. Obvious, right? Patch agreed to the principal, then slipped into the hospital, dodging the nurse's gaze. He returned to the ward like a ghost, telling the kids fairy tales and playing childhood games with them. In his unique way, he filled the kids with the beauty of life, giving them the courage to keep living, and parents couldn't praise him enough. He even had the nurses rolling with laughter. This man who rediscovered the meaning of life was determined to succeed in both love and career. But Hannah wasn't impressed. She thought he was a rule-breaking idealist who just talked the talk. Patch wasn't upset by Anna's prejudice. He patiently explained his actions, but Anna was done giving him chances. She stood up to leave, but Patch followed closely, and Anna couldn't take his persistence any longer. I worked really hard to get here, and am not about to waste my precious time on your unfortunate theories. I'm here to study medicine and graduate. Even if I hit a few bumps, I won't lose heart. When midterm results came out, Patch snagged 2nd place in class, while Anna's scores were a letdown. So he soothed Anna's mood, even offering to tutor her, and her opinion of him slowly started to change. Textbook knowledge is crucial, but real-life experience teaches you the true value of life. Participation aids in mastering book knowledge. Patient interaction is key for doctors. That successfully convinced Anna, and they headed to the ward together that night. He gently placed the toy gun in the old man's hand, waking him up tenderly, and then they pretended to be balloon monsters. The old man went wild shooting at their balloons, and Patch's colourful fairy tale kept the ward filled with laughter, even bullying in the old man next door. The old man's biggest dream was to hunt on the African savannah, but now he could only spend his days in the ward. The joy Patch brought him today helped the old man let go of his life's regrets, even though everyone knew it wasn't real. But that feeling of being valued was exactly what they needed. Patch asked the old man in the next bed if he had any wishes to fulfill, and the old man said he had always loved his mom's spaghetti, and his biggest wish was to bathe in a bathtub full of spaghetti. Seeing the old man's glimmer of hope, Anna was deeply moved and found herself praising Patch for his meaningful acts and the way her. But Anna didn't respond to Patch. She skillfully changed the topic. Perhaps her feelings were starting to yet no affection fully arose. After goodnights, they left separately. Patch went to hospital room 305 instead of the dorm. The patient in this room was the hardest to deal with, and even the nurses avoided him, but Patch bravely approached him. He tried to bridge the gap by offering a foot massage, but the patient took it as an offense. The patient yelled at Patch and kicked him out of the room. This was the first time Patch got scolded, making the nurses giggle. The next day, all were shocked as Patch re-entered room 305, having heard the patient pray daily for God's forgiveness. He came as an angel delivering God's message to the patient. All he had to do was treat himself and others kindly, and his sins would be forgiven. This absurd and funny act was quite ridiculous, but the patient understood the message, let go of the past and turn over a new leaf. Subsequently, he successfully wheeled the patient out of the ward to embrace a bright new life. Every day after that, Patch moved from room to room, spreading endless joy through the hospital. His creativity was limitless, like a real angel soothing the pain of the world. But one day, while he was playing on a patient's bed, the principal appeared out of nowhere. Facing the principal's questioning, he could only feebly defend himself. Scientists scientists have discovered that laughter benefits pneumonia. Long story short, laughter reduces pain, increases circulation, and promotes heart health, and Patch laid it off, but the principal dismissed it, telling Patch to join the circus if he wanted to be a clown. Hospitals save lives. He emphasized that Patch needed solid medical knowledge and enough clinical experience. The principal raised doubts about Patch's antics in the hospital because he'd heard Patch never studied during his spare time. Patch was well aware his roommate was behind this and directly confronted him. The roommate confessed he hit the books while Patch spent his days playing the clown and chasing girls. Even with that much work, how could Patch still score so high? The only explanation I can think of is cheat. Subtitle: Patch sensed jealousy from his roommate. And Patch complained to Truman about the principal's rigidity, but Truman supported the principal's view, saying everyone in the hospital faced endless suffering. Subtitles: they needed to learn how to accept death as well as some unalterable realities. Even though Truman was reluctant to do so, he still reminded Patch to maintain a low profile. Subscription prompt following YouTube.